record. So you can see you have to click to get that off your screen. So Johan, you'll have to click. There's a little button that says "Got it," and if you click that, it'll clear out of your way for you.
Got it.
And then you got your chairs, looks like, and you need one and one, and then a third thing to sit in back here, and then be able to see the screen. So again, this being your first day, it'll take you a little extra time, but next time you'll know. And this class, the whole class is built on this setup: chair, and then 2 balance implements here. And just a final minute or so, breathing in the nose, out the nose or the mouth. And as I was saying, noticing, we have the bones, the sort of most stable aspect of our body, that we want those to be structurally related to each other in the right way. So we wouldn't want to be slouching, but we also don't want to be holding ourselves in some position. So if we get all those bones to relate to each other correctly, and again, that's buttock bones through the chair, the spinal column naturally extending upward towards the crown of the head, the rib cage resting in between, the shoulder blades on your back and the arms extending from them relaxed, so you're not gripping and holding tension. Then you have the pelvis and the hip space and the legs that softly extend from there, and all of that can be soft and really needs to be soft and relaxed in order to move freely, in order to move naturally. So our seated meditation, the mind is coming to the present moment. The breath is assisting us with that. We're inhaling, holding the breath a little, exhaling, letting that breath out. And we're also noticing that we have, and for Parkinson's, I think this is even more essential, is this recognition that, as they say in Taoism, Yi Dao Qi Dao. The E is your conscious will, the ability for you to tell your attention to do something in particular, right? So you could think about some other person, place, or thing, or time right now. Or you could not do that and bring your mind into the present. Breathing, you could decide with your breath, with your mind, to attend to your breath with curiosity and interest. You could decide with your mind, with your E, or your mind, your consciousness, to put your bones in that relationship that I described. You can then decide with your mind on a more subtle level to let any muscular tension relax and soften. And there's layer after layer of this tension in the body. So that's where our movement series that we're about to do becomes valuable, because there's layers of tension that are deep enough that we can't just let them go with the mind just yet. We have to actually move them like a sponge that needs to be, or a rag that needs to be wrung out, right? So we'll begin there. Place your hands on your thighs. I turn sideways so that you can see some angles, but you can just stay facing forward the whole time. So your hands are on your thighs. You're in what we'll call neutral. Slide the hands forward past the kneecaps, and at the same time, let the head drop and round your back towards the wall behind you. So you open the back side. Then slide your hands back, pull your elbows behind your body, and look up towards the ceiling and create a little arching position, right? So that's called spinal extension. Then let's do spinal flexion again. Slide the hands forward, let the head drop, rounding the back. spinal flexion. Then slide the hands back, elbows back, lift the gaze up, arch the back. Notice how your chest lifts forward and up naturally. Let's do this 3 more times. You can add the breath. Exhale as your hands go forward and you drop your head. Inhale as you slide the hands back, pull the elbows back, and look up. 2 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So you might be able to feel this is loosening up that deeper tension and bringing it into your volitional control so that you could relax it. Now, settle to the middle. Neutral. This neutral position is of great importance, especially when we stand up, when we start walking. It's this neutral that's the constant that we're making sure is intact, regardless of what the body is doing. Now, for rotation, slide your left hand forward past the knee as your right hand and elbow come back, and turn the chest and head to the right as if you're just trying to look behind you. And switch. So the right hand goes forward, the left hand and elbow come back, and you rotate and look over the shoulder to the left. And back to the right. So we just repeat that. And key component to Tai Chi and Qigong is softness. So we're not focusing on how far we can turn by force, but rather only going the amount we can go with that soft quality, so that there's a gentle coaxing loose. Round by round, gently loosening all these little moving gears and parts. Last one. As you finish it, then settle back to neutral and feel neutral again. Neutral, ideally now, feels like something you can rest into rather than hold on to. And then the final of these first 3 movements, arms hang by your side. Let your weight shift into your right butt cheek, and almost like you're falling asleep and falling out of the chair, side bend. As you stay leaning to your right, lift your left wrist. Just let it float up like a balloon that's got helium, and let your wrist stay very relaxed. But your right arm is down there, Jim. Other arm, Jim. Other arm. Yeah, stay leaning to your right, but it's the left wrist. Yeah, there you go. And bring it up a little higher, the wrist. Yeah, there you go. And lean to the right. Good. Now we switch. Left arm goes down, right wrist comes up as we lean to the left. There you go. Good. Johan, keep leaning. And then lean back. So the primary exercise here is the leaning, but the movement of the wrist and hand just add a little something. Side bending. So when we walk, we have to change weight from one leg to the other leg. And over time, we want it to be something that's very subtle. We're kind of making it overt and blatant. We're just kind of really clearly changing sides. We're opening up interior real estate. Last one. And then settle to the middle. Hands on your thighs. Feel that neutral one more time. Breathing. Notice, are you holding your body? Remember, our goal is to, addition by subtraction, release that hold, release any activity in the nervous system that's unnecessary, right? And especially with Parkinson's, there's a tendency towards active, towards sort of doing and getting stuck. And so the training is that of down regulation, soft, loose, and then learning how to control the body in that soft, loose release state. Next exercise, joint mobilization. I'll move a little closer for this one. Shoulders. So remember, your shoulder blades are on your back. Your arms plug in to those shoulder blades. Relax your arms down alongside you. Let your arms hang. shoulder blades slide up. So we shrug all the way up. So Jim, make sure you're going up. It looked like you went back. Yeah, really bring them up as high as they can. Good. And then melt them straight down so that the arms are hanging and you feel, especially if these are tight, you'll feel a little stretch quality here. Do it again, shrug up, and like a sponge, you're squishing that muscle tissue in the trapezius muscle, only to then melt it and let it be soft, 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 soft. Two more, shrug and melt. One more, shrug and melt. Now we do little circles. So the shoulder blades don't only lift up and down, but they slide apart, lift, come back together. So shoulders forward, up, all the way up, up. And then stay up as you go back with the shoulders. And then stay back as you slide down with the shoulders. Then stay down as you come forward. And remember, what usually happens when I say forward, people do this. But notice how I'm going like this. So the ribs stay there, the shoulders slide apart and go forward, then up, then back. There it is, then down. So Johan, let me see you try that. You got to go forward with the shoulders, up with the shoulders, way up, up. Stay up as you bring them back, like you're trying to crack a walnut between your shoulder blades. And then down. Let them melt all the way down. One more time. Forward, up, back, and down. Good. Now we're going to go the other way. So from the down position, back, up, forward, down in front. We go back, up, forward, down. Two more. Back, up, forward, down. Back, up, and forward, and down. And again, we're unpacking deep tension in all the muscles of the chest, shoulder, and that takes time. So especially if you're new to this, that's just like an intro, planting some seeds in the brain of like, oh, that area moves, okay? Now, bend the elbows, bring your hands up. Elbows out to the side and up as high as you can take them, like little chicken wings. And then down to your sides. Then around in front of you, touch your elbows together if you can and squeeze them a little bit. And then down by your sides. Out and all the way up. And then down. Again, we're just addition by subtraction. So remember, all these movements, their goal is to stretch and contract the meat, the musculature, the pathways of tissue and connective tissue and muscle, as well, of course, the nervous system is involved. And we're moving softly, slowly, but very thorough, right? We're not rushing, but we're also not being lazy with our movement, right? Okay, that's that exercise. Now, complementary one, elbows back, right? Kind of like a karate position. You can see my elbows pull back. Then elbows down. When the elbows are down, the hands are up. Elbows forward. Point your elbows towards the front of the room. And then point your elbows up to the ceiling as much as you can. And the key here is that, look at my hands. When my elbows go up, my hands come down. So you have to relax that and let this movement really happen. And then we go forward, down, back. And then we go down, forward, up. So we're just clearing, again, kind of a circular path. We're clearing a gear, right? You imagine some sort of machinery that's got gunk all over its gears, and the gears can't move how they should. But as we lubricate and we move them through, then the machine just is happy to do so. Happy, it's an improvement upon general functionality. and then back down. Now, elbows back out to the side, palms facing down. One above, one below. The one that's below goes under the armpit, and then give yourself a hug. And then releasing that, elbows go straight out to the sides of the room. Then the other above, other below, hug. Elbows out to the sides, switching. And just notice, these are shapes the body was built to make. But it's very easy for us to go through our lives and not make these shapes. That's why having a yoga practice, a Tai Chi practice, some practice that really recognizes the body wants to be put through its ranges. It wants to flush and stretch and contract and lean and fold and open and close, right? It has to. Go ahead, bring the elbows down, rest the hands. So that's an abbreviated joint mobilization. We do more of that on Friday before we do our Tai Chi, but we move on now to our legs. So here, lift the right knee, your right knee, and then pull the right heel towards your buttock. So this loading up of the leg, and then push the leg away from you. Then reload it and set that foot down. Other leg, load it up, push it away, reload it, set it down. Load it, express that power of the leg when it's loaded, reload, down. Chamber it, push it away from you, rechamber it, set it down. Great job, everybody. This is a basic function of the leg. Loading and unloading. Loading, unloading, reloading, down. One more. Load, unload. And this is like a flushing, right? We're compressing, and then we're extending and washing it through, and then recompressing, and then relaxing. Now, right foot, just extend it out, hold it in space, point the foot, flex the foot about 5 times. Now, invert, the foot goes a little in, a little out. This is usually one people miss, just this very subtle movement of the foot at the ankle. And then circles, in and around. Nice polishing of that range. Then out and around, circling. And put that foot down. Other leg, extend, point, flex, about 5 times. Then invert, evert, a little in, a little out. Little in, little out. And circling in and around. Out and around. Reverse that circle. And down. Scoot forward on your chair. If you scooted back, make sure you're at this front edge. Swivel steps with your left foot, lift the ball of the foot and turn so the knee and the toes point out, and then lift the toe and turn in so the knee and the toes point in. So notice here's neutral, and there's an in position, internal rotation, and then external rotation, and then internal, external. Now notice the pelvis and torso don't really move much. They may move a little, but primarily it's this thigh bone turning, corkscrewing in the socket. And then back to neutral, other leg, external, internal, external, internal. These are basic functions. This is good for your brain to be able to learn these controls, right? We can, again, go through our lives and not make these movements. That's one of the problems with modern living, is that so much is taken care of for us that we lose abilities, we lose pathways. Let's do it with both. open, close, open, close, open, close. Last one. And then we're back to neutral. From neutral, fold forward, hinging at the hips. And then sit upright. From the upright seat, from the hips, lean back. And then sit upright. Fold forward. So this is good for the back, good for the hips, the groin. But one of the things that you want to recognize here is the power of moving from the right place. So watch me for one moment. So Jim, what I noticed is you did a lot of head down first. And not that that's necessarily wrong, but what you want to feel here is that nothing changes through the spine for this particular exercise. But just by folding at the hips, you change where your head is, where your shoulders are, just by moving from the correct place, which is where your pelvis meets your leg bone. So this folding and unfolding is a key powerhouse for moving correctly, for standing up, for sitting down, for doing all kinds of things, is this relationship. And a lot of times when I'm doing folding from the hips, people are stuck here and they're moving their head and their spinal joints a whole bunch. So really feel that if you can open those gates of pelvis and leg bone relationship, all of a sudden big movements become kind of easy. Okay. Now, stay sitting, slide the feet back just a little bit. This is how we stand up. So that same fold, and what we want is shoulders and head and arms in front of the ankles. As they get there, the butt is behind the ankles, and then we just simply push through the ground, and there's a launching vertical by rooting down. But all of this can remain relaxed. We don't have to hold on. In fact, holding on makes us top heavy, right? So relaxing. Now sitting down from that same hip powerhouse, the butt goes back, the torso folds, let the arms hang, be loose, and then sink the butt down, find the chair, then sit back to vertical. So we fold, this is the first gesture, then a little bit of a forward quality, and then push through the earth, rise. And then sitting down, make sure it's not back to the chair falling, but it's more hinging and then sinking. And then vertical. One more time. Soft, soft, loose, and relax. Good. Now, without sitting in your chair, do that. So this is the Tai Chi squat. The butt goes back a little. The butt sinks as if it's looking for a chair, but notice if you're soft and relaxed, your hands are getting down around the floor here. And then push through the ground and rise up. So the goal here is do this a few times, and addition by subtraction, meaning you're doing less. Your body's just soft and relaxed, and you're just sinking down. You're making sure your knees are happy. So you only go as deep as your knee joints can allow. And then you just push through the earth and stand back vertical, all the way up. Stand all the way up. Johan? Johan, are you stuck there? Stand up, Johan. All the way up. Stand up. There you go. Good, good. So we have the vertical position, which is that line. Then we have folded hips, and that opens up a space that we can then sink through and then push through the earth and rise and get back to that lovely vertical. And at what point did you need to work like crazy? At no point, right? That's the goal. Let's do two more where it's just this soft. And notice if you dropped your eyeglasses, this is a great way to get closer to the ground, reach down with your hand, grab your eyeglasses, and come up. Or if you drop a pen or you drop something you need to get to, the best way down is this Tai Chi squat. Butt goes back, so you open up the courtyard, and then you just down, get it, come on back up, right? Okay. So now standing, you've got your chairs either side. Let's move closer to the right side chair so you're comfortably related there. So that's my left side, it'll be your right side. So everything I say is going to be, for this class, going to be opposite because I want you to see it like a mirror. So fingertips lightly touching the chair. Now, change your weight to your left leg so that your left leg is your primary support leg. Lift your right heel and get up to the tippy toes of your right foot. So you can see in my foot, I'm right at the tip of my shoe. I'm not in my foot anymore. I've put all the work into this leg and this one's empty. See how I can move it and wiggle it. See if you can achieve that. Then place that whole right foot back on the floor. Shift your weight through the right leg so it's your primary support. This one now being empty and loose, you lift the heel and get to the tip of the toes and give it a little wiggle waggle, right? Let the leg go back down. Change the weight. Feel yourself establish that the left leg is your support and the right foot comes up and is light and empty on the tippy toe. And then down. The other thing we're working on here is both the lifting of an empty foot, but also when you put the foot down, keep it empty. So don't go into it as you bring the weight in. Let the whole foot go down, the heel touches down, and then internally shift. Other leg is empty. Let's go to level 2 of this exercise. This is where you might need the chair. Get to the tippy toe and then disconnect the foot from the floor and then place it right back down empty. Change the weight. Left leg is empty. Get to the tippy toe, lift, return it to the floor, and then shift. Once you're established full empty, that empty foot can lift and land, and we're back to shifting across. This is level 2, where we're not trying to lift the foot super high. We're just making sure that we've got this changeover before we try to pick up a foot. Great job, everyone. Level 3, we just take this lifted leg all the way up as high as it could go. This is this chambered position that we did while we were sitting. Now, stay in that left leg and take the whole right foot back down to the floor. Then change the weight. Now the left foot being empty, lift it all the way up to its highest height. And again, use the chair to keep you safe. And then all the way down. And notice this softening long through that leg. And then change. Let's do 2 more, level 3. So we bring the leg all the way up. It's sort of compressing. And then we're softening that leg long down to the earth. Finding the earth with the foot. Change the weight. That's an internal mechanism. Then all the way up, all the way softening long through the limb. Change. 1 more each. Imagine the espresso cup sitting on the very crown of your head. Can you keep it a nice stable unit, but not by tensing up, but by relaxing more so that your body has this relaxed, settled quality? Okay, next exercise. Empty your right foot, your inside foot, the one closer to your chair, and put the foot out in front. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Notice I'm not way out there. I'm right here, and I'm on the heel, and this foot is empty, this foot is full. Now, shift into your right leg and get to the tippy toe of your left foot. And then shift back into your left foot and get to the tip of the heel. Shift. So we're working on this often overlooked moment in walking, which is transfer. Transfer. Many people walk as if they have stilts for legs. Clomp, 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 right? Versus here, this is more like a wheel or like a rocking chair. Whew. And we want to have that quality. And what it's like is it's like there's a wheel underground that we're just rolling forward and back. And so at no moment are we up here about to fall. We're underground. Our rooted quality is underground. We're just changing which leg we're using to connect. Let's go to level 2 of this. So level 2, might need your chair. This front leg, disconnect with a straight leg lift from the hip. Lower the heel back down and then rock. Now your back leg is empty on the tippy toe like a flamingo. Just lift the foot. So this is your left foot. Lift it and then touch the toe back to the floor and rock back. From the hip, straight leg lift, lower, shift. Flamingo, touch, shift back. Straight leg, down, shift. Flamingo, shift back. Now, level 3 is just that taken one step further, all the way up to this chamber position, all the way down to a soft heel touch. Then rock into that right leg. Now this back leg, heel to butt and knee forward and up, so that we can practice reaching the toe back behind us, find the floor. But notice there's no weight. My weight is still here. And then I shift. Again, this front leg being empty can lift, lower down to the heel, and then shift. Now my right leg is full, so now this back leg can come all the way forward and up, reach the toe all the way back, lightly touch the floor empty, and then shift. Lift, lower, shift. The whole while your central equilibrium is soft, relaxed. You're basically internally just meditating and then using these limbs with this hydraulic looseness. So we're going to switch sides here. Bring your right foot back to next to your left foot, side step, and now you should be close enough to this other chair. And we're going to put the left foot now in front. Heel, softly touching, empty. Shift. You're on the tippy toe of your back foot. Shift back. Tip of the heel. Shift forward. Shift back. So Jim, notice that because you're so far forward, you're having to reach behind you for your chair. Move your body back so that the chair is in front of you, so that when you rock in, the chair is right in your wheelhouse. It's perfectly positioned. Good. And then rock back. Let's do 2 more, the level 1. Rock. Rock. This is an essential skill that we don't even think about usually. This full empty and then full empty. Transferring. Rather than 2 wooden stilts, we have 1 full spring, 1 empty, light, limber limb, and then we change that. Now let's go to level 2. Disconnect. This is again, you might need your chair here. Lower the heel down. Shift. Then back foot, just pick it up like a little flamingo. It's a little bend to the knee. Then touch the toe back down. Front leg, lift, lower, shift. Back leg, flamingo, touch down, shift back, right? Front leg, straight leg lift, lower it down, shift into it. Back leg, heel to butt, flamingo, put the toe right back where it was, and then shift, work on that transfer. Great job, everyone. Let's go level 3. So it's just the same skill, just with some added challenges. Shift. Now here, that knee comes forward and up in front of you, only to then reach back and try to find the floor without putting weight in that leg. So your weight stays very strongly in your front leg, and then you shift. Lift, lower, remember empty. As you lower, it stays empty, and then we shift. So we want to be free to bring the leg up and reach it back without even any weight change. And then shift. So the limb is loose and free. And it's that looseness and freeness that creates the opportunity for safe speed. Up, down, right? So I did that very fast. That's very fast, but I didn't rush in my body. My body feels like it's in a relaxed state. And it's that relaxation that allows that movement to go swift, free, loose. So that's what Tai Chi trains. And with Parkinson's, that is just essential. All righty, great job. So that's that exercise. And we're going to go into our side steps here in a moment. So I'm going to adjust my chairs. Don't you adjust yours. You guys keep yours right where they are. I'm bringing mine back so that you can see what I'm about to do here. So come to the left side of your chairs. So you've got this runway out in front of you. Turn and face down the runway, and we're going to walk. But you have your chairs here for safety. So turn to your right. So you should be to the left side of your space, and then you turn and face the right. So Jim, you need to come back this way more. Back this way. Yeah, so that you have more room in front of you. There you go. But the chair was fine. Where the chair was perfect. Put the chair back where it was. So the chair is your safety. Okay. Now, empty one foot and put it in front of you, heel touching. No body weight. Remember, it's light. It's empty. Now we shift and we make that leg the full leg. Now this back leg being empty, put the heel in front. Put the heel in front. And then shift. So once you've established your weight in your new leg, your other leg is free to just step forward. And then shift. And then step forward. And then shift. And then step forward and shift. Now use your chair to turn around, and we're going to walk forward, back across. So use the chair, turn around. So these chairs are safety. Make sure you're using them. Stay safe. Do it again. So our goal here is to put a foot out. So we shift without stepping, but then we also step without shifting. And then we shift without stepping, step without shifting, shift without stepping, step without shifting. Eventually that can flow. Go ahead and turn around, do it again. We're going to go there and back a couple of times. So put the foot in front, shift without stepping, step without shifting, shift without stepping, step without shifting. Those of you that have been doing it for a while, you might recognize you can practice now letting it flow, which is shift. As soon as that foot is empty, it's floating, and then shift. And eventually you kind of just place the foot down, and you can see how I'm walking. It's natural. It doesn't look all forced, right? But it's that central equilibrium staying intact, right? That's what brings safety. It's that softness through the body that brings freedom. Great job. Okay, so let's do our side steps now. So again, be towards the left of your space and be facing forward again. So now we're both facing the same way. Now, put all the weight through your left leg, right leg empty. Step the leg sideways and out, and then bring it back in. Out, in. Make sure you don't kerplunk all your weight into the leg and kerplunk, right? The goal here is this leg is empty and free. I'm going to turn so I can see you guys. So again, Jim, you should be facing forward now. Jim, face forward. Yeah, and be towards the left side of your space though. So you're right in front of your chair. There you go. So now that right leg of yours is side and in, side and in. almost like a dance step, right? Because as it lightens up, it can move quickly. The only reason it's cumbersome is if my weight is in that leg every time, then it's not free. But if my weight is here, then this leg is free, right? You feel that freedom in the hip. Now, right foot out. Change the body weight so the weight's in the right leg. Change the body weight so the weight's in the left leg. Try not to lift the feet off the ground at all. Almost feel like they're magnetically connected to the ground. And so you got to buy this real estate in the joints, in the tissue, in the hips. Now, the next time you change so that your weight is in your right leg, the left leg should be free to come in and go back out. And come in and go back out. And come in and go back out. As it frees up, you test yourself to say, ooh, could I keep rhythm to a song, right? This is almost like a little salsa dance move, a little footwork. Because the weight is established and settled, then this is free, right? Now, bring that left foot in. Feet are very close together, perhaps even touching. Now, change the weight so that the weight's in the left leg, and then change the weight so it's in the right leg. Change so it's in the left. So the legs being super close together force us to find this vertical quality or in this internal mechanism back and forth. So again, this is also like a little salsa dance move. This is the essential piece to moving internally, changing so that this is empty, and then I change. This is empty. Change. This is empty. Change. This is empty. Right? That mechanism is what will free you to move up the stairs, down the stairs, safely over here, safely over there. Now, the weight goes through your left leg. Right leg is empty. Step it out. Change the weight so it's in the right leg now. Left foot steps in. Change the weight so it's in the left leg. Right foot steps out. Change the weight so it's in the right leg. Left foot steps in. Change the weight. Step. Change the weight. Step in. One more. Change. Out. Change. In. Let's go the other way. Out. Shift. So the weight is in the left leg. Bring right foot in. Change the weight. So it's in the right leg. Left foot should be empty. So it's just a soft little step. But there's no body weight that went with it. Right? So it can still do this. And then you decide. In. Out. In. Out. One more time, there and back. The mantra, step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Step without shift. Shift without step. Step without shift. Shift without step. And then the softer and softer you get, the more it's shift and then step. Shift and be able to step. So swiftness and speed and efficiency of movement is available eventually. Let's go back the way we came. Change, in. But if you don't ever do the process of Tai Chi and Qigong, of de-starching and loosening and learning how to let go as a mode of transportation, if you never learn that by going slow enough, then you won't be able to access. It's like a gateway you have to pass through, is slow it down. Same thing with the mind. You have to slow the mind down and clear the mind space so the nervous system drops and relaxes. All right. Now, final exercise for today. Now you come in between your chairs. So now you're right in between, in the middle. So your chair on your left, you use that for support if you need it. Empty your right foot. Now, turn the right leg externally. The knee and the toes point out as much as you can. Notice the hips naturally turn that way. Turn back to neutral. And then turn the whole leg internally and notice the hips naturally turn that way as well. And then we go back to neutral. Turning out, middle, in. Now let's skip the middle and we'll just go from in to out, to in, to out. So again, the left leg full allows a freedom of everything else, the arms, the torso, the hips, this leg. So that's the key to Tai Chi, is this recognition of one full and then the lightness, looseness, and freeness of the rest. Let's switch. So change the weight to the right leg, turning left foot out, and then turn it in. Turn it out. Notice how your whole body kind of angles towards this corner. And then turn it in. It angles towards this corner. The right leg is a constant, steady. Everything else is loose and free. One more. Back to neutral. Now, empty the right. Turn the right out. Now we shift into the right leg, turn the rest of the body, and bring the left foot to match the right foot. And then once again, empty your right foot. Turn the right foot out again, 90 degrees or so. Turn, shift into the right leg, turn the body. Now you should be facing away from the screen, away from the camera. Empty the right foot again, turn the right foot out, shift onto it, turning. Now you should be facing another quarter turn. And then one more of those brings you back to where you started. Right foot, shift, together. Let's do that again. Right foot turns out, shift and turn and step. Now, check that espresso cup. Check your relaxation. Every time we add another wrinkle or another challenge, the common reaction is straight to lose your principles of ease. Fear kicks in, right? Caution kicks in. Those are all fine, except that they make it more likely that we'll have a problem, right? So we need to soften that out of the system. Now, once you're back to facing forward, we go the other way. Left foot turns out 90. We shift into it, turning the body, bring the right foot next to left foot. And remember that same mantra, step without shifting. So I turn this foot out, but it's still empty. Then I shift without stepping. And then I bring that foot, I step it in without shifting. And then I shift without stepping, step without shifting. Shift without stepping, step, shift. So the power of this exercise is pretty immense, because what I've noticed with all my private client work and with other classes and stuff, but especially with the private clients, this is a problem. This is where a lot of falls happen, is where people are kind of stuck in their feet and something happens, the phone rings and they go to turn and they go falling over their feet. So this ability to say, oh, the phone is ringing. Okay, turn, orient myself and shift. And now I'm ready to head that way. But first you got to get your head in, right? Your orientation. So now that we're facing forward, right leg, instead of turning out, turn it in. Shift onto it and bring your left foot to match it. Empty the right foot again and turn the right foot in. So you're pigeon toeing. And this is a weird one at first, but you'll see that it has value over time. But it's good for the hips, but also there's a reason why this helps us function in our rotation. So again, that right foot turns in, pigeon toe, the body starts turning a bit, and then we shift onto that foot and bring them parallel. And one or two more, and you should be back around where you started. All right, so now we just got around in a circle in 4 foot movements. Let's do it again. 1, actually 8, but 4 of the pigeon toes. Pigeon toe, and then reorient yourself. Pigeon toe, and reorient. And make sure, again, you're not walking on stilts. You're empty, full, right? As you finish that, then let's go the other way. So it's now the left foot that's empty, pigeon toe, shift. Pigeon toe, shift. So when you turn, notice it's not just the foot at the ankle, it's the whole leg bone internally rotating, and it's the pelvis turning on the standing leg. So there's this whole turn that happens here. And then there's this shift and realignment. All righty. Now watch me do this last one here. So I'm putting these 2 exercises together. 1 turnout. I shift through that right leg and I do the pigeon toe with my other foot. Pigeon toe. So now in 2 foot movements, I can face 180 degrees away from where I was facing. 1 turnout, shift onto that turned out foot, stay balanced as you turn the other foot in, and then you rotate and you're back to where you started. Do that again. 1 turn out, shift, keep turning as you pigeon toe. And then make sure you've got empty, full, change which one is empty and full, and then use the freedom of that empty foot to make your step. Let's do it one more time. To the right, shift, make sure you get established. Pigeon toe. This really helps us find our center, because at first doing these exercises feels discombobulating, but then over time, we actually feel this constant balance even as we're moving around in space. Let's go the other way. Left foot turns out 90. We shift, we turn, we keep turning a little extra and pigeon toe that right foot, and then shift into the right foot and just rotate around your middle. Turn the left foot out. Shift, turn, shift, turn. Go 3 times. Can you find stillness? An unbroken stillness internally, even as you're making pretty major changes in your relationship to space, right? I mean, you're changing entirely the direction you're facing, but there's a quality of nothing is happening. Quality of total stillness, total ease, total release. And then we're finally back to the middle. And we finish with our brief self-massage. Hands, rub. Rub the back of one hand. Rub the palms. Back of other hand. Palms. And then we go, the genital area in the middle, right on either side of that is called the inguinal region. So kind of get in that space there gently but thoroughly. This is the qua. This is an important area for various reasons, but one of them is that's where the space for movement gets. Now come around to the tail, up onto your lower back. And then remember our squat that we did. The butt goes back, sink the butt, the hands slide down the outside of your legs. They come around to the inside. As you stand back up, the hands come up back to the qua. Qua, around to the tailbone, upper into that lower back, and then again, down the outer channels or yang channels, around, up the yin channels, past the groin to the qua. One more. And then the reset for the arms. Up the outside to the shoulder. Turn that arm palm up. Down the inside off the fingertips. Turn that palm down. We repeat on the same arm. Up, turn, down. Turn. Up, turn, down. Up and down. Up and down. Eventually, and switch. Up the outer, turn, down the inner, turn. Up the outer there, Jim, up, turn, down, turn, up, down. It's resetting the flow of the channels as is observed and believed in Taoism and Chinese medicine. Yang channels move in a particular direction, yin channels in the opposite. All right. And then we close our practice, wings, roll, bend the elbows, hands come over top, settle everything down to your middle, to your belly button. And then we seal the practice, one hand over the belly button, other hand over that hand, take 5 breaths. Soft joints. So notice, are you locking your knees? Can you just soften them? That doesn't mean bend. It means open so that they may bend, but it's not because you're forcing them. Shoulders soft, elbows loose, head and neck loose as can be. One big fluid matrix, right? And then we close with the Taoist bow, this little mudra. Grab one thumb and make a fist. Bring the hand down and across the front of the fingers. And if you look at your palm, this creates a sort of yin-yang symbol, that classic Tai Chi symbol. And so we're using this mudra to remind us harmonization of ups and downs, lefts and rights, forward and back, finding your middle, your center, right? So Taoist bow. Thank you, everybody. Well done. Find a comfortable seat, and if there are any questions, feel free.